What's up, you guys? I'm back at it again with another video. Today we're actually working on my brother's GS-T. So yeah, stay tuned, guys. All right, so this is the car we're going to be working on today. Yeah. All right, so what's going on with this car is that every time we try to start it, we actually have a really bad cranking noise. Okay, I changed the starter to a different type of starter, aftermarket, actually to an aftermarket type of starter, and same shit, the same thing's going on. So just to give you guys a little preview of how it sounds, I'm gonna go ahead and have my brother crank it over for you guys. All right. Yeah. Oh yeah, so this guy, you can't see it obviously, but the transmission is gonna have to go down in order for us to investigate and see what's going on. All right, so I'll be back. All right, pretty much almost everything that I needed to remove up top is removed. Now I'm gonna work on the axles for both sides. All right, we got the axles out from both sides. Here you are. Here's the axle on the passenger side, and like I mentioned, pretty much almost everything that we need to remove. I just need to get this motor mount here, and it should be out. So hopefully next time around you guys can see it in 1, 2, 3, and there it is. All right, so this is how the clutch actually ended up looking. The only thing I removed, obviously was the bolts around the pressure plate. So I'm gonna remove it just to look at it and see what we got. Okay, so this looks okay, I guess. It's kind of old. The pressure plate kind of looks like maybe an AutoZone replacement. I don't know. Kind of looks like it, honestly. Nevertheless, it looks okay, to be okay shape. Let's check out the disc. The clutch disc looks okay, at least at first glance. So does the backside, and it has plenty of meat. I don't know if you guys can see that that well, but it looks like it has a decent amount of meat, honestly. Here's the flywheel. And yeah, as you can see, there's a few cracks in there. I don't know if you guys can see that, if the camera's picking it up. There's one there, and then there is another one right here. I don't know if you guys can see that one. Okay, it's pretty visible. One thing that I noticed after taking it out, you guys see the teeth mark here? I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it that clear or that well, but yeah, these teeth marks, they look to be scored, and it's just at the very beginning, or at least closest to the motor, closest to the block. But yeah, and these teeth, there's definitely some teeth marks in here For some reason, maybe that starter was not catching right. But I blame this flywheel. Honest to God, I blame the flywheel. We'll see what happens. Okay. Also, the starter plate looks fine. You know, at first glance, nothing has been opened up. That was my biggest fears. Maybe they used an all-wheel drive starter plate and they opened it up. I can't really say. Okay. But the good thing is, most of the parts that my GS-T Spider had, before I made it all-wheel drive, I ended up saving them for a rainy day. I don't know why. I just did. And it looks like we're going to be installing those back on this car. Ooh, so I was just going over the stuff, and this is like the biggest gash right here. I don't know if you guys can see that, but obviously the teeth do not even look straight in this particular area. Yeah, hopefully the camera's picking it up. I'm sorry if it's not, but yeah, there's definitely something going on. Even right here as well, this doesn't look right. But yeah, let's compare it to the flywheel out of the GS-T, when it was a GS-T, the GS-T Spider. And yeah, let's go take a look at it. All right, so the flywheel looks pretty good. Just inspected it and compared it. Obviously, it looks much better. One of the things that I ended up saving from the GS-T Spider when it was front-wheel drive was actually the transmission. As you can see, my brother is going to town on the transmission, and he's cleaning it up, just degreasing it, just so it could look a little decent, you know, before we put it back in the car. And not just that, I mean, it's a good thing I kept it, because this transmission here actually has a little bit less miles than the one that's actually installed on his car. So yeah. All right, so my brother went to town on the starter plate that came out of the Spider, and you know, it looks definitely a little better than how it did. It was actually not dirty to begin with, but nevertheless, we just want to play it safe. We don't want to reuse the same starter plate that was on the car, even though the number does match. This number here does match. Okay, the original starter plate had that number. Front-wheel drive plate had that number 962, but nevertheless, we're still going to be installing this guy. Okay, so let's have at it. Okay, so we got that GS-T Spider front-wheel drive plate. I mean, it's front-wheel drive regardless, but nevertheless, looks good. All right, we were able to put it back together, and we put the axles, we put everything that we needed to do. We actually filled up the transmission with some oil, some gear oil, and this is going to be the first time trying to start it. Let's see how it goes. All right, so as you guys heard, last night didn't quite work out. The starter still kind of had a funny noise. It sounded a little better, but nevertheless, it still sounds kind of funky. So we're back at it again, and we're gonna see what else we can find. All right, so I ended up removing the starter just for kicks, because I wanted to check out the teeth and see how they look. And I don't think you guys can see it that well, honestly, but I am. Looks like it has a little bit of marks around the teeth. So we're gonna go to AutoZone and have this guy replaced, because it is aftermarket starter, and then I'll be back once I install it. All right, so we were able to put everything back together with the replacement starter, and we're actually gonna attempt to start it and see how it sounds. Yeah. All right, I actually consider this a fix. So yeah, If you're having a weird funky noise issues when you guys are cranking the car over, you might want to start with the starter instead of doing what I did. But nevertheless, lesson learned. All right, so I pretty much swapped everything that I know was in good condition onto this car, and it didn't end up working out. The only thing I didn't swap out was actually the starter. Come to find out, we come and exchange the starter to a newer one, and yeah, it started working. So all that work, I mean, I wouldn't say it was in vain, because the transmission that we put in the car does have lower mileage, and the clutch felt weird before, so that's another thing that we ended up swapping out, because I knew it was good. So anyways, lesson learned. Maybe you guys might, if you guys are having some sort of similar issues to this, you guys might want to start with the starter instead of taking down the transmission and replacing the flywheel if you don't need to. Okay, all right, catch you guys on the next one.